last time we were here, we talked about the Lecarde Chronicles 1, a fan-made platformer based off the Castlevania games that was made pretty well, but had some programming flaws that just didn't let me pass the game. Well, today we're talking about the sequel, the Lecarde Chronicles 2. It came out in 2017, which really isn't that long ago, and actually seems to have a pretty big fan base following all over the forums online and all that. It's hard not to hear about this game. Well, Halloween is right around the corner, and what a perfect time to review this game. Will it be better? Will it be worse than the previous one? I don't know. Well, let's just go ahead and check it out.
All right, we're here again, going through another tutorial level. What? I died? Let's try that again. I now have a sword and not a whip. I kind of like that. What? I died again? One hit? What's going on here? I already found a glitch where I can just die in one hit? I can't even move on in this game right now. What is going on here?
Well, I did some research, and actually there are different types of games or different operating systems, so I finally found the right one. Let's just go ahead and boot that one up.
Okay, finally, I don't die after one hit. It's really cool because I'm very powerful, but here's death just taking away all my power and all my weapons, just like in Symphony of the Night. So after the tutorial, we get to another town setting, and this is awesome, done way better than the first one. In this game, the townspeople just seem alive, especially with the day and night transitions, where the townspeople are inside the houses at night. This was actually done really well compared to the first one. Come to think of it, it kind of reminds me of Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. You know, going around talking to townspeople, getting clues on what's happening around town or the city or the areas. That one introduced day and night transitions, but in that one, you had this box that popped up and interrupted gameplay for like 10 seconds each time. That was annoying. Anyways, so we head into the forest and instantly the spooky atmosphere begins to creep in. These tree people are ones of nightmares. The way that they just pop up off the ground really caught me off guard. So you just go around, collect things, and then you run to this possessed tree. This boss reminds me of the trees that are in Mortal Kombat, or Poltergeist. Either way, this is scary. Either way, I just love this concept of the possessed tree. Just like in the first game, the boss battle is balanced really well. I died a few times, but it isn't hard to figure out. Just kill the zombies on the floor and avoid these roots. Then you got them. I end up collecting this flute, and then I head on over to the mines.
Let me just take a second right here and talk about this game. That boss battle was awesome. I mean, right off the bat, level 1, get this creepy boss fight. It's amazing, and it really feels like I'm on this grand adventure. It's something that the first game didn't do as well. Despite having the same visuals, this game just feels so much different, but in a better way.
Yeah, this game is an adventure. I know I keep on saying that because that's what it feels like, and it's exactly what I want out of a game like this, even in a side-scroller. This game just feels like a perfect mix between Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, Symphony of the Night, and a Souls-type game. Simon's Quest with the townfolk, day and night transitions, exploration. Symphony of the Night because of the weapon, armor, and item upgrades. And then Souls games because of these statues. They act like bonfires or lamps, where they save your progress and they are checkpoints. This game is filled with lore. Every tombstone or statue giving some information about the story or surroundings of the story. I mean, it's so cool.
So about the story, I guess the Wilhelm family is back causing evil again and terrorizing everybody. I mean, that's all you really need to know, and that's really all you need to really play this game. Let's get going.
You get to explore so many different places in this game. I already mentioned the forest before, but then you have the mines, mansions, caves, cemeteries, strange houses, rivers, poison lands, snow lands, a haunted university, underwater levels, and just so much more. There's also multiple towns and cities to visit too. You'll collect new weapons and armor along the way because each section the enemies get stronger. If you don't collect those items, you just won't have a chance. There are some weird named items though, like when I pick up a new weapon, it's called a lightsaber. What am I playing, Star Wars? There are really cool unique power-ups in this game. You have this white glow and purple glow power. Each level you power up, you do a different ability, and with each level, the ability is stronger. And I just can't help but think about Dragon Ball Z with this animation. Like I said before, the bosses are great. The designs are amazing for every level. Not one really gave me much of a huge problem, but they are all uniquely designed. A couple bosses that stood out to me was the crow boss, fighting this giant big bird thing. And then, of course, the evil version of yourself. I don't know why, those boss fights were just really fun. You even get to meet some canon characters like Alucard. Neat.
This game has so much depth about this. I could be talking about this game for hours. There's just so much to do. But I am prepared to talk about some of the more annoying and frustrating elements about it.
One of the things that frustrates me are the statues where you save your progress. More often than not, I find myself unlocking or collecting items and immediately having to run back to the nearest statue just to save it. Because if you die, you have to collect it all over again, and you lose all your progression. And the statues can just seem very far away from where you're at sometimes. Another thing that was frustrating was falling into the water. When you fall in, you just take so much damage. You may as well just let yourself die. Because the time it takes for you to climb out, you're just going to want to go back to the checkpoint anyways, just so you can refill your health. Also, if you beat a boss, it should spawn a save or checkpoint in the boss arena or area. For example, after I beat this one boss, which was very hard and grueling, I died to a hazard shortly after. I wasn't able to reach the statue to save my progress, which means I had to fight the boss all over again. This is where games like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, they get it right, because you save right after a hard, grueling, anxiety-filled boss fight.
Having better save points would have made this game better. It doesn't make the game less challenging, it just makes it less of a hassle, but whatever.
And then you get to the Wilhelm Castle. This is the final stage of the game, and this blew my mind with how big the stage was. This castle alone takes the last 40% of the game with how big it is. And this reminds me a ton of Symphony of the Night again. There are so many areas inside this castle, so many bosses, and the music is awesome. Just listen. The music in this castle really gets my blood pumping and sets the tone for what it is to come. Not to mention the scary imagery that's in here. Like, look at these walls, these vampire paintings and these creatures and whatever that is. I did find that the castle can be a very elaborate MacGuffin fetch quest. Like finding this cup of truth thing to bring to the statue to start going inside the underground pathway, to go back on top, to drop this boulder so you could go back to underground. I mean, what's going on here? There's a lot you have to do. The boss battles were fun too. I found myself in the Chamber of Illusions fighting the illusionist. What am I fighting, Edward Norton? Everything here is a secret with the invisible platforms, but you do need a specific item to dodge his attacks. Boss battles like these make it really fun. Then there is Death, a dual phase boss. This took me a while and the challenge was high. It was a fun boss fight though, but I forgot to record the victory, but I beat him, trust me. But the hardest boss has to go to the Leviathan. Whoa, this thing is huge. It's almost an instant death every time he hits you. But once you find the pattern and the groove, you find his weak spot, you just get him. The final boss of the game was Lucifer. That's right, Satan himself. We just let this guy sacrifice this lady. What a hero. And then Lucifer appears. What the freak? It was disappointing to find out though how easy this boss was. But you defeat him, and then you beat the game. And I got the bad ending.
There are multiple endings to this game. Well, I did some research. There's the A ending, B ending, C ending. C being the worst ending. And I got C. I did all of that just for C.
Apparently, the other two endings have more bosses at the end. The B ending says you save someone, I think the lady who was being sacrificed, but ultimately didn't do what you're supposed to do, so you end up dying. Great. And the A ending, you defeat all the bosses and triumph evil for good. To unlock these different endings, you have to collect these 8 different orbs and 3 black books that I somehow missed.
Well, there you have it, the Lecarde Chronicles 2, one of the best Castlevania games I have ever played, and the best fan-made Castlevania game that there is. I mean, this game has it all. There's so much adventure here with the spooky scenery and the boss fights. 10 out of 10. If I could rate this on a Sunny scale, I would give this a 93%. I guess that's a thing now. I love how the first half of the game takes place outside of the castle, going through different lands, different sceneries, talking to different people. I think that was my favorite part of the game personally. What started hurting it for me was all the excessive items and stuff you had to get inside the castle. I mean, I did so much, and just to end up with the worst ending just kind of hurts a little bit. And that's why I've had to bring it down. But this is a free fan-made game, so I can't complain anyways, and it's far better than the first one. I highly recommend you finding it, downloading it, and giving it a try, especially if you're a Castlevania fan. And there might be something in the description. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed these last two videos. Happy Halloween. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Sunnyside.